Yes.
All right. We're back. Episode number 12.
That's a dozen.
It's a dozen. I don't know why I repeated that. But it is a dozen.
We're
without Grayson today.
I know, man, and it's throwing us all off.
Yeah, it's like...
Dude, you never know how much... Like, first of all, it's a lot quieter in your house, and I don't know why.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Dude never talks. Like, why is it all of a sudden more quiet in your office?
I don't know. But all right.
I miss him. I never thought I'd miss him. Like, I knew that it would be harder to do this.
Oh, I knew I'd miss Grayson when he was in here. Like, for what it took me forever to figure out how the damn recorder thing worked. I thought I'd broke it.
We're hoping that we're recording right now.
Yeah, I hope it turns out. Hopefully you guys are hearing this episode right now.
Dude, so we got a lot of stuff on tap. We definitely have a strong Week in Geek.
I mean, that's probably the main part of the episode, I think, this week, probably.
Yeah, and then, of course, the NCAA tournament. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but man, I sure do.
Sure, we can talk about the tournament.
I absolutely love that. And then also, like, I kind of want to talk about why I was late today.
Okay. I didn't know if we were going to talk about it or not.
Yeah, I decided we're going to talk about it.
All right. Wait, we hit the...
Grayson, hit that music. Oh, wait. Fuck.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up.
All right, critically unacclaimed. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brandon.
Here with Brandon.
Damn it, every time. I know you're supposed. Why do you always have to introduce me, man? I like to say my own name.
I think it sounds better. I don't know. You guys listening have to let us know. I think it sounds weird when we.
Well, if you said I'm Tyler and then I said and I'm Brandon, like it'd be fine.
And I'm producer Tyler today. I'm running the thing.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
You could be producer Brandon next time.
You know, it's like an actor, like all those actors that would direct episodes in their sitcoms. Like, you know, like all of a sudden, no, that happens. But like, for whatever reason, you guys won't let me produce an episode.
Hey, this is the first one. I'm taking my shot at producing. We'll see how it goes. I don't think it sounded good. I think my mic got out of hand there just a minute ago. So it may be short-lived. You may have to do it next time. I may never be allowed to do it again. But, so, yeah, why was you late?
I got in a fight with my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it's
when you said fight, I was like, dude, how big was he? Like, you don't look like you're hurt.
She's about 5'3". She's feisty though. Okay. So I'm going to talk about this, and I know that it's already an issue. Like, I know that this is going to start fights. Like, this is already going to start another fight. Not that she listens to the podcast, but because, you know, why would she listen to the podcast? But because there is people that know her that listen to the podcast, they're going to go, you talked about Randy. So I'm going to preface this by, I've been with my girlfriend now for well over 2 years, and I love her dearly. And it's not always a struggle, but sometimes it is. And anybody that's been in a long-term relationship, they can relate. They can go, yeah, no, sometimes there's struggles. We are past the like big fights, I think. We're past the like fights on you know, we know each other now. We've filled each other out. There's not going to be any surprises. If there's a fight, I feel like it's because one of us wants to fight. Because we know how to push each other's buttons or not push each other's buttons, right? So today I was sitting on the couch with my daughter. All right. And I'm just sitting there. We're watching Jeopardy because we like to watch Jeopardy. Like the old episodes on like Netflix. We watch the college championships. Like, so she'll get one or two questions right. And it's like pop the champagne whenever she gets a question right. I don't want to brag, but I get a lot of the questions right. Like, so, but that's a story for another day. My useless knowledge of like trivia, like
you think you're gonna, you think you can make it on Jeopardy? Are they doing Jeopardy now?
You know what? I don't know.
I don't know. All right, continue with the story.
Okay.
We don't want to get sidetracked.
So we're sitting there, and I haven't done anything all day. Like, still in my PJs. I cooked my kids breakfast. There is literally not an interaction that I've had to, like, cause any kind of tension between me and my girlfriend. And all of a sudden, she goes in the laundry room, and she says, "Babe!" And I go, "What?" Okay. That is end conversation. That's the end.
So you go, she goes, "Babe," and you go, "What?"
Yes. Okay. So the same inflection, the same tone, the same volume. Okay. She looks at me like I just kicked her dog. Like, and she's like, "Don't take that tone with me." Which it's the same fucking tone, Tyler. It's the same tone that she said, "Babe," that I said, "What?" Like, it was the same everything, right? So that, okay. And I'm like, all right, yeah, no, it's fine. And I'm like, well, actually, no, I'll be honest. I was like, no, I didn't take a tone. I took the same tone that you took with me, right? Which is the wrong thing to say.
Right.
And I know that now because that escalated.
Right.
So she just kind of turns and goes to the sink, and I go, "What were you going to talk to me about? Like, what were you going to say?" And she goes, "Nothing." Okay. I'm a man. Just in case, to clarify, like on the podcast, just in case we've been pretty gender neutral because we're woke like that. I'm a man. And there is nothing that irritates a dude more than when something was super important, and then based on something, some little infraction, they're now not going to tell you. Like, it irritates me. And the thing is Randy knows that it irritates me. So when I say, "No, like, what was it?" And she goes, "No, I'm not, it wasn't important. I'm not even going to tell you now." Okay. Now I'm mad. Now I'm irritated. Right? Like, now I'm mad. We could have blown over that whole "babe, what" thing. Like, we could have just went, okay, we were both wrong. We both came a little hot there. Like, we could probably just tone it down and talk about it. But now she's pushing my buttons. She knows she's pushing my buttons, right? So I'm a little irritated. So we proceed to pretty much ignore each other the rest of the day. And so I drop the kids off and I come back. And now we're going to talk about it. And so we talk about it. And then I proceed to get the alternative timeline to the events that just transpired. What I said is actually what happened. What I think I now have to believe happened is that she said, "Hey, sweetie pie." And I said, "What do you want, demon woman?" And she's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you. And you're like, "Well, what do you want to tell me now?" And she's like, "No, it's no problem." That is now what happened. I can either accept that that's what happened, or I can fight and say, "No, that's not right. I chose the latter. That was the wrong decision." Who the fuck cares whether she's right about this? Other than me. No one. And now maybe a few people that listen to us. but most people do not give a shit about the events that transpired and how she thinks it happened and how I think it happened, like which one's right. So why, Tyler? Why did I choose to be 30 to 45 minutes late to the podcast today? Because I chose to fight. When really, I should have just chose the flight method. Yeah. And I don't understand why I do that.
It doesn't happy make any wife, sense. Happy life.
I'd be like, you know what? I did come in hot, and you did not say "babe" in a menacing tone. Like that happened, right? So that's why I'm late. Because I got in a fight, and it was my own fucking fault, man. Like, it was my own fault. I should have just let it fucking be, but I can't. And I'm good at arguing. But the problem is and you guys, anybody that listens to the podcast, you know this. you win that argument, you fucking lost. Like, I mean, and what I mean by that is even if you win,
you
and
lost.
you like, and she just goes silent treatment because she doesn't have a defense to put back, it's over for you. Like, you've got 3 days. You ever heard that song 1 Week by the Bare Naked Ladies?
Yeah.
That is literally
1 week since you looked at
me. Yes, yes, that song. And it'll still be 2 days till we say we're sorry. And that's after the day that they both realize that they're at fault.
Yeah.
That there's going to be 2 more. 1 week is literally just about a man and a woman in a fight.
Yeah, I know that.
And it's the most truthful.
It's one of the best songs of the 90s.
Yes, and it's truth. Bare Naked Ladies, 1 week is truth. If you win that argument, you have 1 week before shit is right again. So why? Why not just accept it? Why not go, you know what? I totally am mistaken on the events that transpired, and you were 100% right, and I am mistaken, and let's just move on. Guys, let's just move on.
Well, I mean, being the bigger person would say, like, you just like, oh, just apologize and just move on with your life, right?
Yes.
But, you're probably like
I'm
me
not
and
the bigger person.
hard-headed, and you're just like, like, I'm going to be right. Like, go fuck yourself.
No, this is the wrong move.
That's exactly why I am single. Like, I just don't want to deal with any of that bullshit.
Exactly. Ever. When all the hills are the hills that you want to die on, then you need to like rethink your position in a relationship. If you're like, this is it, because the fact of the matter is I heard babe, and I said what, and maybe I don't know. Now I'm starting to think maybe I did overreact. And
well, I was gonna say,
I said what, it was more because I was startled. I wasn't even mad. Like, I don't care.
I was gonna say that maybe she was mad at you because you said you hadn't done anything all day. You just sat around.
She hadn't done anything all day either.
Oh, okay, well, that's right.
Like, no, I mean, it wasn't.
What's good for the goose, right?
Yeah, we were both off work. It was
lazy Sunday.
It was a lazy. It was a stereotypical.
Hey, Sundays are the best to be lazy, though. Let's be honest. There's not a whole lot going on. Like, it's nice to get some food out or something.
I'll be honest. By 5, like, I got home, took a shower, and didn't even realize how much I needed to take a shower. And I'm not saying that because I was like stinky, but like, have you ever just like,
oh, dude, I thought
gotten out of the shower with a new perspective on life?
Some showers are better than other showers.
Yes,
and I know that sounds ridiculous, but no, like, you might get in a shower and afterwards, like, your whole life perspective has changed.
Yes.
No, yes. I just thought about this the other day.
I agree with you. Like, so I had one of those showers. The problem is I had it before the fight, and so. And it's like I'm stressed out. We're not talking. Like, I can feel the tension. It's been 24 hours since my last shower. I really haven't done much. I'm still in my PJs. So I go and I take this glorious shower, and I come out and I'm ready to do the podcast. And I see her, and my mind immediately goes, "Oh no, I've got the confidence where I could win this thing." Who the fuck am I? Like, why? Why, Brandon? Why? Why do you do that? And so you're like, hey, like, you said babe in a menacing tone. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? In the back of my mind, I'm like, just say you're sorry, dillhole. Like, who the fuck cares? Who cares if she's wrong?
Yeah.
Like,
you did, evidently.
Apparently, I took a shower. I was like, man, I needed that. Now I can take on the world, but I'm gonna start with my 5'3" girlfriend. Yeah, no, it was a terrible.
I think she's
idea.
taller than 5'3".
She is taller than 5'3". I think she's 5'5". 5'5". I'm gonna say 5'5". She's gonna be pissed if she. That's what it's gonna be. She's gonna be like, I don't care that you aired our dirty laundry on your podcast. You better recognize how fucking tall I am. That'll be the. And I'll fight about that too because I'm an idiot. I'll be like, come on, here's a tape measure. Let's do this.
You could be 5'3" depending on what gas station you're walking out of.
Exactly. You were barefooted at the time. Last time you measured your height, you were wearing platforms. This is bullshit.
What other topic you got?
I don't know, man. What do you have? Oh, hey, so I watched some movies. Not like I know we're gonna talk about Snyder Cut.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're gonna talk about Snyder Cut because that was a big
That's coming
release.
in the Weekend Geek.
Yeah, that's big. And then we're gonna talk about Winter Soldier and Falcon on the Weekend Geek. That's a big one. But I did watch a movie, and it took me a few tries to watch it because it just didn't seem very good. And the more I got in it, the more it kind of grew on me. And it's one I think that flew under the radar. Have you ever seen the movie Get a Job?
I think I've heard of it. What's refresh it?
So the reason I watched it is because, one, I like Miles Teller.
Right.
So Miles Teller is Reed Richards in the terrible Fantastic Four movie.
Right. He's in a lot of
But he's in a lot of other movies that are good. Like
what's that one he did with the drum where he's the drummer? That had like a lot of like Oscar stuff in it.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't. I don't know.
I forget what it is, but
Rhythm Section.
It's got a dude.
This is why I have mine. I can Google this.
It had the dude from Spider-Man who plays J. Jonah Jameson in it.
Yeah, J.K.
Simmons.
J.K. Rowling is
that's the
other J.K.
That's the other J.K.
J.K. But Miles Teller I like.
Okay.
But the other person that I find delightful is Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, she's great.
Yes, and so Anna Kendrick's in this movie. So then Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Mintz-Plasse.
Oh, he's
McLovin.
McLovin
is.
I
in this
just
movie.
watched Superbad the other day. That's funny.
Yes, So like he's in the movie. And you're like, oh man, this will be funny. And I keep getting a freaking phone call. All right. So the other person in this movie is Bryan Cranston.
Okay.
You know who Bryan Cranston is?
Yeah, Breaking
Bad. So you
Zordon.
So all four of those people, right? You're like, this can't be a bad movie. And then I watched it. And 20 minutes in, I went, this is a bad movie. Like, what the fuck? Like, how did this happen? So the whole premise is about millennials.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, it's already kind of like weird. It's like this knock on millennials. Because the whole point is they all just graduated college. Not Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston's Miles Teller's father. They all graduate college, and they're like all convinced that they're like going to take over the world. Like they're going to go in and like, so he's like a YouTube enthusiast, right? And so he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to work for the LA Times for their social marketing division. And like, I'm going to put out all original content. It's going to be fantastic. Well, like, so he's been doing an internship, and so like he shows up to work, and they're like, yeah, we don't have a spot for you. And he's like, what? So, then he goes and he asks his dad, Bryan Cranston, for money. Well, he gets let go. So he starts looking for work. Well, the dude hasn't looked for work for like 30 years, right? So like, it's pretty funny because
and is this where they're like competing for the same jobs?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not.
I seen a movie that was like that where they were competing for the same jobs.
So the movie you were talking about is Whiplash.
Whiplash, yeah, that's the
movie that I
one.
was really, really like. So he was in Divergent, but War Dogs is another one that Miles Teller is in.
Oh, that movie's great.
He's
Jonah
also,
Hill.
Yeah, he's going to be in the new Top Gun movie.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Which is great.
Waiting on that one to come out.
I'm still looking. Yeah, Get a Job, 2016.
I actually don't want to lie. I could really care less about that Top Gun movie.
Really?
I'll watch it, but I just like I mean, it seems like a cash grab to me.
Like all of our entire like livelihood is based on nostalgia.
I hardly ever watched Top Gun as a kid, so I watched it like once or twice. I was like, oh wow.
You know what? Fuck Get a Job. We need to go into this further. Why in the fuck would you not watch Top Gun?
I mean, I've seen it, but it was just like, it just wasn't my favorite movie. It wasn't even my favorite, like, Tom Cruise movie.
What's your favorite Tom Cruise movie?
Oh, probably Interview with the Vampire.
Okay, that's pretty artsy, but like,
and then like, I love like, what is that, Days of Thunder?
Okay. So I will agree that you're either a Tom Cruise Top Gun guy, or you're a Tom Cruise Days of Thunder.
I think Days of Thunder is better. You know, one of my favorite movies of all time is Far and Away.
Far and Away. Man, you're very like deep artsy Tom Cruise.
Well, I mean, I just
I love Jerry Maguire.
I love
but
those period
that all
pieces.
came after.
I love those period pieces.
What about like Risky Business?
Fine.
Cocktails.
Cocktails pretty good.
Cocktails is good. And then what's the other one that I'm
The Color of
of?
Money.
The Color of Money is good.
That movie is fantastic.
No, what's the one where he's the football player?
The football player.
Yeah, dude, he's the high school football player. I don't know why we didn't we talked about high school football movies, and I don't know.
Shit, I don't even know what movie you're talking about.
Oh no, you will as soon as I say it. It's like All the Right Moves.
Oh yeah, All the Right Moves.
Yes, yeah. Which is that's a really good.
I don't even know if I've seen that.
There's really not a lot of high school football. It's one of those movies that's a kind of about football, but it's not a football movie.
It's probably not as good as Varsity Blues, so I don't even care to watch it.
It's not a comedy.
And I mean, anyway, what was you saying about Get a Job?
Oh man, now I don't even care. No, honestly, it was a pretty enjoyable movie towards the end. But basically, it had a good like ending. Because at first it was like all millennials are pretentious and like they get their they want their rewards just like for playing, right? Like they just wanted to walk into like these jobs and everything was going to be fine, and then like it was like a big culture shock that nothing was just handed to them on a silver platter. And the whole time I'm like, this sucks, like because this is kind of my generation, so like this bothers me a little bit.
I don't ever remember. I remember like maybe in
I don't think we're all like that.
In soccer, I got a participation trophy, and I used to think it was so weird that we got one, and our team was terrible. Like one year we got one, and our soccer team didn't win a game. And then one year we got one, and we won the championship. The team I was on won the championship, and we got the same fucking trophy as everybody else, like a medal with like a soccer thing on it. And it was just like,
that's what you get.
See, like I hated that as a kid. Like I thought it was bullshit, to be real honest with you. And then
did you guys even keep score?
Yes, we kept score. Like because we had winners and losers, and then we had a tournament at the end of the season that determines who won. This is like, I mean, we were older. This is probably like 6th grade, 7th grade, maybe.
I don't ever remember
I think it was 7th grade.
I don't remember not keeping score.
8th grade is the year. Actually, in 7th grade was the year that we only lost one game. And man, this is crazy. I was the goalie, and we lost that game 1-0. It was the only goal.
You let one go by you?
It was the only one that I let go by me all year.
All year?
All year.
You only had one goal.
We beat everybody like 5-0. I was never goalie until that year, but like our team was really stacked, obviously, and then the only place that we're really weak at was goalie. And I was just like, I'm gonna make goalie my bitch. Like I'm a big dude. Like I'm just gonna just sit in front of that thing and just not let anybody score. And we had a really good defenders, and like all I had to do was just get the ball out of the way, and it worked every time. And I blocked this one team. They were the second best team, and I blocked the shot, and then the kid kicked it off the rebound the opposite side of the goal, and it went in. I was just too fat and slow to get it. But yeah, it was the only goal that got past me the whole year. We ended up playing that team later on in the championship, and we won 7-0.
Well,
our best scorer,
congratulations,
had just got hurt, but we didn't win anything. I think we made the paper, and that was it.
You made the paper?
I think so.
I don't remember making the paper in anything.
It would have been a lot better if we would have been undefeated. I still put that on myself.
I did like traveling basketball, like AAU basketball teams. But I did
see,
that, and like we'd go to like the Show Me State games, which is like the Missouri big tournament, and we'd go.
Whenever I was younger, they only gave out first and second place trophies, and that was only to the tournament. So we and this was it was baseball. It wasn't t-ball. It was pitching machine. Did you ever do that with the pitching machine?
No.
So I was like, this would have been like 4th grade. I think this would have been the 3rd grade year.
Yeah.
Our baseball team was pretty good, and we got to the tournament, and we got second place in the tournament. And we got a second place trophy. My trophy said second place, and they only gave out first, second, and third place trophies.
Oh.
And nobody else got a trophy. The next year, our team sucked. Like everybody that was on the team had a lot of the older guys had left, And
You say the older guys, and you say it's like 3rd or 4th grade.
I know. Well, they all like aged out of that. They all went into like 5th grade.
They all went to the show.
So like I was in 3rd grade, they were in 4th grade. Well, they went to 5th grade, and they went to the higher level.
Oh, okay.
To like the pee-wee level. Right?
So you had to step up and be that veteran leadership.
I was pretty good. I played catcher before, and like I continued to play catcher at first base after that. And dude, I batted 700 when I was in T-ball. Don't give me shit, man.
Did you say you batted 700 in T-ball? Don't they let you swing at that bat until you make?
No, they didn't. I never had that. Like whenever coach would pitch.
Okay, coach pitch. I remember
but
coach pitch.
It was still 3 strikes, you're out. And then when it got to pitching machine, it was competitive. Like all these guys on these other teams played like traveling ball.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys on my team, I was the only one who didn't because my parents were too poor.
So you said T-ball. So that you misspoke, and that's fine.
It's not little. I would say
T-ball
little.
literally implies that a ball is sitting on the tee.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, I don't think 700's good enough.
It's like Pee Wee or Little League, I guess is what it is. Because it was with the pitching machine. Pitching machine pitched it. I think it was 45 or 50 miles an hour.
No joke.
And we had to hit that. And like I had a great on base percentage. I would hit doubles all the time because they give you this really bouncy ball. So I would just hit the fuck out of it, dude. And it would bounce over the fences.
Oh, over the fences.
I hit a couple home runs too. I think I want to say I hit doubles. 6.
Because I was like, man, I just don't see you rounding first and like legging out a double.
It was either a double or a single or a home run.
And I haven't seen pictures of you when you were younger, so I don't know that. Like,
I look basically the same now, but shorter. And I had a mohawk.
Yeah, you're not legging out any doubles.
I had a mohawk. I looked like the dude from Angels in the Outfield because I had that mohawk like the catcher did from Angels. I was that catcher.
Did you ever have a mullet? Like a rat tail?
No, I had a mullet. And then I would spike my hair on the side.
Oh, that's dope.
It was dope, man. I was a cool little kid. I had rocking hairstyles.
I had stuff like buzzed in the side of my head. Like, you remember when they like
all the time
like
lightning
little,
bolts?
Yeah,
I'd have the lightning bolts.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
That was early on. And then like in high school and like even in late junior high, like my hair was all sorts of different colors.
I used to just buzz it off because I'd play sports and work outside all the time in the summer, so I would just like buzz it off and
I had blue hair,
I didn't care. I did the Eminem thing one summer.
I did that as well.
One summer I did that, and my hair was already so blonde nobody even really noticed it.
Like I think back. So my first year of freshman, so fuck Get a Job. Like we're done with that.
I guess it's a good movie. I'll check it out.
No, it's okay.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
It just happened to be a movie I watched and we were looking for ideas.
I'll watch Top Gun again too. I'll give it a second chance.
When we start talking about something and it's like, no, that's what like I'm glad you mentioned that because now we're going to talk about real stuff. But like my first few weeks of high school, I just dyed the front of my head.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know how to explain it. Like I've got a widow's peak, right? So that was blonde. Everything else was the same natural hair color. So I had these blonde spikes just right at the front. Now, I am sure that
you look
that
goofy
was,
as shit.
No, I know I look goofy as shit, right? And so like there for a while, like I got made fun of by like these older kids, right? They made fun of me. They actually, it was pretty good. He's like, "Would you swim to school?" Looked like the chlorine got to the front of your head. Like, it was kind of good, right? It was funny, but like, I always thought of them as bullies. But now I look back and go, I looked like a douche. And they called me out on that, and that's okay. Like, that, you know what? I changed my hairstyle almost immediately. The second that I could get rid of that, I did. Now I frosted the tips, or like I did bleach blonde the whole head. But then, like, Eminem was around.
Right.
And like, so it was, it wasn't, I say it was cool. It was cool at the time.
It's cool
at the time. It was cool. I also had a chain wallet and Jinko jeans.
Right.
They were very cool.
Jinko jeans. Oh shit! Those things are expensive.
I wore shirts that I wear now.
They're kind of making a comeback.
Even though I'm 140 pounds heavier than I was,
you just
like in sophomore year of high school. Like in sophomore year of high school, I was 215 pounds. So I'm 100 pounds heavier than I was sophomore year of high school. But I was still wearing the same XX and XXX t-shirts because baggier was better back then, right?
My style really hasn't changed much since like 5th grade. I still try to wear like Nike sweatpants, some like, kick-ass shoes and like a Nike shirt or something.
So
Like that's all I wear.
But the thing is,
I'm not very stylish.
I don't remember participation trophies outside of kindergarten.
I never got one. Like, I mean, I got the medal during soccer, and that was it. Like that's why I brought up my sports history.
But so not to go back to get a job, but to go back to this whole like entitled thing. Like one, I don't think millennials own entitlement, like at all.
I'd like to.
I think
don't.
every
I just
generation
don't,
that comes.
I love to compete in competition. You know, when we worked together in sales,
Yeah.
I was competitive as fuck in sales.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no way.
I wanted to be number one every time.
Yeah, no, and I'm super competitive.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean,
And that's why we were good together. That's why we worked good together.
exactly. We push each other,
Yeah.
right? And it sometimes when your girlfriend says "babe," and you say "what," and then you want to fight about it. That's competition as well. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not over. I'm sure there are people in my generation that are overly entitled, that they feel like if they went to college and they graduated college and they spent $90,000 or however God much they spent on that degree, that they deserve a job.
Right.
And that's not how the world works. Maybe it should, but that's not how the world works. Right? Like, you're going to get an entry level position, you're going to make 25, 30, 35,000 a year, like, most of the time. But the thing is like, the generation before us, like, or our generation thought that, or I'm sorry, the generation before us thought we were entitled. But the generation before that thought that generation was entitled. Right? Like, I like, it's
just
like,
as like society grows, right? Like, I mean, entitlements are going to be more and more because you expect more.
I think
society.
I think my kid's generation's entitled. Like, sometimes she'll ask me things and like I'll tell her no, and she thought, like, she'll just look at me with that go to hell look, right? That only my family has. That, like, you're just like, it, like, the eyes are burning through your skull.
Fuck you.
Yes, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how entitled could you be? Like, I say yes almost all the time. I said no one time, and now.
Well, it's hard to understand this as a kid too, and maybe like I know that I struggle with it. Just like to understand why you're being told no. You know, sometimes things that seem real little are actually pretty big. You know, like just kind of going back to the sports thing. I really wanted to play sports in high school. Like I think I probably could have. I say this, everybody who listens to this who's from my high school is gonna be like, yeah, right, fatty, you couldn't have made the team. But I think I had a decent shot of making the basketball team. I was a hard worker and I was a good shot. I played basketball like 3 hours a night every day when I was a kid. And I played with a lot of people on the basketball team. They weren't that much better than me, and I was really out of shape. And football, I also want to play football. I'm a big dude. I think I would have been good at football. And like I honestly never played, so I don't know. Like, I played in like the schoolyard and stuff like that. I could catch, but I just wanted to play. I love competition. I love going out there and competing and stuff. But like, my parents just really couldn't afford it. They didn't have time. My dad worked farm, and my mom worked a job. She was a CNA, so it was just like, you know, she didn't get home till like a lot of times like 6 o'clock. My dad getting home till like 8 o'clock. You know, he started at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's getting up 4. Usually leaves at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so like you didn't have the means.
Yeah, but it really pissed me off that, like I've been pissed off about it my whole life that I never got to play sports as a kid. I really wish I could have.
You could have been you could be the veteran left tackle that the Kansas City Chiefs are needing right now.
We may if I would have played, I would have probably, been, right at my peak right around the time that Alex Smith got there, and we may have got I may have been the missing piece to an Alex Smith Super Bowl. That's my dream. That's my dream. I keep telling myself.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's fair.
You keep dreaming. There has to be a dreamer amongst us.
Hey, it's in the past, so we're just not gonna.
So, I guess what this all boils down to, since we're not going to do the synopsis on Get a Job, is that like. Entitlement is all based on perception of whatever generation you're from.
I also think that it's crazy. There's a really weird. I feel like my microphone sounds so weird. Grayson's gonna hate me.
Oh, I know.
Does it sound weird to you? Should I adjust it?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna leave it.
Viewers, what do you think?
No, it's going to be too late by
Let's
the time
take some calls.
they could chime
Don't you
in.
wish we were live sometimes?
Hey.
Like, hey, let's take a call.
One of these days we'll do that. But it's one of those things too. Like, it's hard to say like entitlements of people who that say that people don't want to work for what they're doing, because I know a lot of people who work their ass off and to get to what they're trying to get to. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and this could be anything, right? Like, I mean, anything you're doing, whether you find it ridiculous or not. Some people may be like, say you're an artist or something. You may be like out there, like really getting your name out there and just like really working hard, but you're not making any money. And therefore in this society, they say you're not successful. But I think that's the biggest issue is like people want, Bill Maher was talking about this. They want fame more than what they want, like the credit for what they've accomplished.
Yeah, they want fame before the accomplishment.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's really before the accomplishment. They just like that you can't like, again, going back to an artist, you can't be an artist. It don't seem like nowadays sell a painting and think that that's good because you're not a millionaire and you're not like famous on social media. Like, people just don't take their accomplishments for what they are. Like, if you did a painting or created something and then sold it, that's a pretty big thing. And like, people are too hard on themselves, I think.
So when we do a successful podcast, we're stoked when we have a successful podcast. When I say successful podcast, I mean like,
are we trying to chase fame doing the podcast?
Everybody shows up, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's 10 out of 12 episodes. That's step 1, Grayson. And
you missed an episode.
I know.
Hey, but are we chasing?
Yes, we are. That's exactly. Well, no, but and the reason I say that it's not is one, either people listen to us or they don't, and I will I'm blue in the face, tell people that they should listen to us, and whether that's conceited or not, it is what it is. But. We're still doing the podcast. We're now on episode 12.
I know we've talked about it before and like on why you do the podcast. But now that we're on episode 12, what do you like about doing the podcast, and like where do you see it going?
So
this was kind of a topic we talked about earlier, but I didn't know if we were going to talk about it. But I think we've kind of segued good into it.
So one, I mean, honestly, like for me. And this might not be the right answer, but I guess it's opinionated, so there can't be right or wrong, right? I think that, man, I think society's kind of fucked right now. I'll just be real with you. Like, and I see stuff, and I want to say something, but I get so annoyed when people put their views on like Facebook.
I know.
Like, and they type out all these like these paragraphs or whatever, and I want to be able to articulate in the form of actually talking out to people. I would love to talk to I know we talk about having a guest every once in a while. I would love to have opposite viewpoint guests that we could talk to without fighting to try to understand one another. I don't know that we could, but I would love to try.
One of these days we'll have guests on for everybody who keeps asking. Not yet. So, anyway, I think that having a voice is good and stuff. But don't you, some of these things like, and I found myself like trying to find other topics to talk about because I get so wrapped up in like politics and what's going on in the world that like, I didn't want the podcast to be like that all the time. Right. So it's like, I don't want to really just like, get into what's going on in politics, just so I could talk about it on the podcast, and that'd be what the podcast is all the time. So like, I mean, I guess I do want to have a voice, but like, I guess it's more about like, like video games, or like not video games, but like movies and stuff like that. So
yeah, I do want to entertain people. Like that's like in an alternate life, like I feel like I'm probably a stand-up comedian. Like I love crowds. Which is kind of weird because I'm podcasting right now and it's an empty room and Grayson's not even listening to us.
I hate crowds. Like, not my thing at all. I did a photo shoot one time at a concert for a buddy, and I couldn't even do it. I ended up leaving. I was just like, I fucking hated it. It was so weird.
So, but like I do want to entertain. But I do want to get my points across too. I feel like some people will listen to this podcast and be like, thank God that somebody else, like, I'm glad somebody's saying it. Like, I think that would be pure satisfaction for me if someone was just like, dude, I'm glad you said that. Like, because like, no, not enough people are saying that.
Well, I think we're just starting, for one. We're just kind of figuring out what we're doing at the podcast. So it's, we don't have things for everybody who's listening, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seems like we have 15 to 20 people who are listening. Is that what you said?
Yeah, no, we've got 15 to 20 people that listen. I think every single week, though, we do get a few like randoms that'll check us out. And this goes back to this entitlement thing. I as much as I would love to have thousands of viewers, thousands of subscribers, thousands of people that like everything we say, it's okay that we don't. We're going to keep doing it. And that's fine. I don't need instant gratification. I don't feel like I'm entitled to that just because we've put out 12 podcasts and we think that they're getting better every week. But two, going back to our second episode, Blender from November, like when I think about entitlement and I think about Karen, fucking Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never met a millennial Karen.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, like most of them are all older, like the boomers and stuff, right?
Exactly. So I have no problem. Let me just preface this with like, I do think we should respect our elders. Like I do. But I do think, just like every other generation, there are fuck-ups. And I think Karens are a fuck-up of their generation. And they're super entitled. And they give the generation before us, what are they, Gen Xers, Gen Zers, whatever, Gen Xers. I think it gives them a bad name. Like, just like we do have some, like, overly, like, crybaby people in our generation that give us a bad name. Mm-hmm. But it makes it really easy for
the cancel culture crowd.
Yes. So, like, it makes it very easy for people to target our generation and use those people as representatives of our entire generation. Just like it's easy for me to say Karens are 40 to 55-year-old white women that are super, like, entitled and feel like they're more important than they really are to society, like Karen. But that doesn't. But the thing is that I don't make Karens define that generation of people. Like that's not how it should be, right? And so, I guess, like, I think the biggest thing would be is like shut the crybabies up, man. Like that's in that when we're talking about cancel culture, like we're liberals. Like cancel culture is supposed to be our thing, but like part of us is like, no, it's not. It doesn't have to be.
People we've talked about it before.
Exactly.
People just get, they're guilty until proven innocent in the cancel culture, and I think that's bullshit. But
just like every person that ever asks for a manager isn't a Karen.
No, sometimes it's
most of them are. Most of you fuckers are. But
hey, I've had to ask for a manager before.
Yeah.
Like, at the cable company one time, I went in there and it was a mix-up on my bill. I'd paid a past due bill to get my new service set up, and the guy had credited it to my new bill. And I was working nights, and I didn't even notice that it just like had paid, like took the money out to pay my current bill, so I was still behind in the other one. And I went up there to see if they could help me, like split up the payments on it to take care of it. I was like, hey, this got messed up. And the guy's like, oh, this ain't our fault. This is your fault.
Yeah.
And he just kind of kept going at me. Yeah. And I was like, dude, hold on a minute. And he finally like got huffy with me. And I was like, hold on here, motherfucker. Like, and he's like, you don't cuss at me. And I was like, look, I'm not leaving. So you got to go back there and get a boss and have him come out here. And he come out here and I was like, look, man, I was like, this is all I wanted to do. I was going to see if you guys could help me break this up in like 3 payments. And he's like, oh yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, thanks. It was that easy. Tell that asshole next time, like, don't blame the customer for that.
Well, yeah.
And he's just like, okay. And I was like, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I just walked out. I was just like, I don't know why this was a big fucking deal. I keep seeing that guy too at the card shop when I used to play cards.
He probably looks at you and goes, "That fucker."
Probably, but I don't care.
He's a little bitch.
Yeah, that guy's a dick. Like, I've had to go back into there to the cable company, and I've talked to him before, and he's been nicer, but I just honestly try not to get him if I go in there. So.
Fair enough. But so I guess my point is everybody's got a subsect of their generation that were super entitled and kind of shitty. Like,
I think it's more
really
of society, just like society rewards, the people who are famous, like, and it makes it seem like you're not successful unless you are known. And regardless what it is, like even if you look at it, like even if you have a small business, right, you need to make your small business work anymore. You got to be like kind of successful on social media with like advertising and making like funny commercials or something like that.
Yeah. So that goes back like, not until the last, like, say, 15 years, and maybe even less than 15 years, nobody's ever talked about your brand, right?
No,
like you as a brand,
yeah,
like you're selling yourself.
But
as
now
a brand.
it is. Now that's
all it is.
Because there's big money in it, and I think that everybody's just trying to really get a bag and like not have to worry about like working for a boss who wants to yell at you because you showed up at 9:55 instead of 9:50 to clock in 10 minutes early.
Well,
and then you're not even clock in just to get your computer pulled up so you could clock in early or right exactly on time.
Did that happen to you, Tyler?
No, like not. Okay. I mean, it's happened before. Yeah, like I remember working at call centers. Like you might only got paid from 8 to 5, but you were there a lot of times from like 7:30 to 5:30. Like, like, and it's like you're trading hours for dollars. And it's like, people just hate that. I hate that. I know that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast is because I hate that shit. And I would love to be able to do something on my own that just don't involve anybody else.
Yeah. So I would say that, like, to go back to your original question of why I do the podcast, and I say, like, it doesn't matter whether we're successful right now, and I'm 100% okay with.
I like doing this, and it would be cool if this was successful, so I could do it more and not have to deal with any other bullshit outside of like a job.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah. I would love if we were successful.
So help us out with that. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Like, help us out, man. Like, you guys want to start a podcast? We'll fucking help you guys out too, okay? Like, everybody. We live in the world of the internet. We could all listen to each other's podcasts and all, end up making $1 million or something. I don't know.
Everybody just listen to each other's podcasts.
Yeah,
that's the strategy.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work.
Well, speaking of podcasts, rather than just talking about how do we make one. Let's talk about something big that happened this week, and let's shift course and let's go to the Week in Geek.
Geeky. A fucking geek. Exactly. All right.
A fucking geek.
Just so you nerds are aware.
Week in Geek.
All right, Week in Geek.
Yes, absolutely, man, dude. I'm stoked about this Week in Geek. I am absolutely stoked.
There's some big stuff. Two big things that really stick out. It was, and let's talk about Falcon Winter Soldier first.
You want to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier first?
Yes.
It was good.
It was great. We're going to continue on. That was great. Everybody should watch it.
Yeah, no.
We felt like, just to kind of preface, our top 11 was really in the Week in Geek spectrum, so we're waiting to now to address it. After listening back to it, we only said that every episode, like every show was great.
Yeah.
I also want to give an honorable mention of Heroes.
Oh, Heroes.
I don't know why I didn't bring that up. It probably would have been higher on my list.
Like the first season was great, and then the second season was okay, and the third season was garbage.
Yeah, and the fourth season was good though.
Oh, well, I didn't even watch the fourth season because of how bad the third season was.
Oh, there's a fifth season too. Oh, so Heroes Reborn or something like that. It's actually pretty cool.
That was the fourth season.
No, there's another one.
Either way, yeah. So we go back, we listen to the podcast, we realize that our top 11 from last week were super vague. We're just like, hey guys, it's good. And so,
which all the shows are good, and if you want us to break down any of the shows that's in the top 11, let us know, and we'll go into more detail on them.
I feel like if I was listening to a podcast, I would want a little bit more insight than that. So we're going to give you guys a little bit more insight,
but only by request. You have to go to our Facebook and you have to request it. Like,
Man,
we're trying to grow. We just talked about this. We're trying.
You can find our Facebook at Critically Unacclaimed. You can either go to our Facebook page or our Facebook profile.
No, like either one works. But also on Twitter at Unacclaimed Pod. I just want to throw that out there.
At Unacclaimed Pod.
And anyway, Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're going to do a little bit better job describing. So this was a lot like a Marvel movie.
Yes. So the first thing I thought when I was watching is after the credits rolled, I say it's the first thing I thought. It's the last thing I thought. After the credits rolled, I realized that I had just watched 40 minutes of basically
the next Captain America.
Like if you'd have told me the Russo brothers did that,
I would have,
I would have agreed with you. It felt like a Marvel movie.
So these episodes are longer, which I think helped. They're longer than WandaVision.
Yes.
It's also shorter.
WandaVision felt like a show.
Yes.
This felt like
a Marvel
I'm
movie.
in a week-long piss break.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like I'm waiting for the next episode. It feels like I'm waiting for the movie to pick up. We're in the first intermission.
So this one only has 6 episodes.
Okay.
So that's why it's going to be longer. The story paced really well, and it one of the cool things we got out of it was we know whether or not superheroes have good credit. Turns out they don't. They don't have good credit at all.
No, and Sam was trying to be entitled. He's just trying to use his name to get some money.
He just saved half of the population of the world. Oh, well.
Spoilers. Shoot, we didn't do the spoiler thing. All of this is going to be spoilers, by the way.
I think they know that. Weekend Geek is spoilers. If you haven't figured that out yet, or if you're new, I'm sorry. Now you know moving forward.
So
it started at the beginning. There's like a... what are they called? The flag smashers? Is that what they're called? Flag something or another?
Nope, you lost me.
The bad guys?
Yeah, the bad guys. The guys with the red hand.
Yeah, the group. I think they're called flag smashers. There's like a flag smasher. I don't remember. I think he's a bad guy, and they're kind of using this as a group instead of one particular person being flag smasher. They're using like it's like a group of people, and they like it the way it was the 5 years when half the world was gone. They like that better. They thought that was better.
So yes, and Flag Smasher is the name. Yes, okay.
And,
so Flag Smasher is the name of a villain in the comic book.
So they're kind of like they're the villains. They like robbed a bank or something. They stole or they kidnapped a high level military guy. Is that what it was? And then Falcon.
Well, no, they
back,
or
he took hostage.
Yeah, they hijacked a. What did they hijack?
Oh, was it a helicopter or a train or something? I don't even know. I can't even remember.
Man, we're starting off so.
They tried to. It's pointless. Really,
it was a military something.
And
then it was a freaking cargo plane. It was a cargo plane that they hijacked,
and they just wanted the guy. It's all they wanted, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they wanted the cargo plane, and then they hijacked the guy for a safe return to Libya airspace. Yeah. And so the whole thing is Sam's just trying to.
It was fucking awesome. Like it was one of the coolest air battles I've ever seen in my life. Like you could consider it like a dogfight between helicopters and a guy with a wingsuit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but it was fucking sick.
It was very good. The action sequence was fantastic.
We got George St. Pierre back as Batrick the Leaper.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which is pretty cool. And he's still alive. He didn't die in the end of that battle, so he should show back up again. There was a War Machine cameo, but it was just
Don
Rhodey.
Cheadle.
It was Don Cheadle.
There's a Don Cheadle sighting.
Yeah, he wasn't.
So Sam gives the shield back.
Yeah, Don Cheadle, I guess it was, what's his name, Rhodes? Rhodes was pretty, he was pretty pissed that he gave it back.
So to be honest, man, I was pissed. So Sam gives it to...
It makes sense, though. I mean, it's a big piece of vibranium, so obviously the government probably wants that back. It's
but they made it seem like
they were
putting it into a museum.
Yeah, and then they give... just to kind of... They end up giving it to somebody at the end of the episode.
Yes. U.S. agent.
U.S. agent.
Which we don't know anything about, but... Anyways,
Winter Soldiers, Sam and... the Falcon and Winter Soldier really aren't together at this point in the show.
No, Winter Soldier's trying to figure out where his place in the world.
Pretty much.
Which is great, right? He's seeing the shrink.
And the shrink tells him to, like, Sam's been calling, you've been not answering his calls.
Yeah, and he's like...
Which Sam's Falcon, for everybody who don't know.
But the thing is, man, like, that's so dark, though, like, because he killed that dude. So his buddy is like an older Asian guy, and he killed that guy's son when he was the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And
he kind of befriended him, which is so weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, he's trying to make amends, and he wants to tell him, but he just can't.
He tried. He showed up, and then he couldn't do it.
And so then that old guy gets him a date with the sushi waitress, and that doesn't go well because all she does is talk about it.
Well, I mean,
like he's broken, right? Like he's done really terrible things.
They talk about how he went from one war. He talks in the show about how he went from one war to another war, and he just never really had time. That he was bleeped out for 5 years, and like it's got to be a weird situation.
And the whole thing, like. And no knock on Sam about the credit thing, but if Sam would have had any kind of a like stocks or some sort of portfolio, 5 years, the 5 years we're talking about, right? That would have been what, 2018 to 2022. Man,
didn't he retire from the Air Force? So shouldn't he have some kind of military pension or something? Like,
yeah, no,
I would think he'd have more money coming in. I don't know. I guess it does cost a lot. He was wanting money to rebuild a boat, and I'd imagine that's pretty expensive.
He probably should have sold the shield. That would have got.
Oh shit! Probably would have set him up.
That would have saved the family.
Melted that shit down and just like got a piece of aluminum up there for the shield.
The thing that's kind of fucked up, right, is he's working for the U.S. government, and he's trying to and he's doing missions for the U.S. government. He gives them back the shield to put in a Captain America museum. And then the American government says, we need a Captain America, and they give it to some random white dude in a Captain America suit. We don't know who that guy is. We know it's U.S. agent. We only know that because of the comic books. And the fact that it has an A, we assume it's a U.S. agent.
I mean, there's an A there for America before, but yeah, it looks like the U.S. agent costume from the comic book.
So,
it's real similar.
How fucked up? How pissed is he going to be in the next episode?
So do you think they're going to turn this into a race thing? Like they can't have a black Captain America?
I honestly don't know what they're going to talk about. I don't know. Is this guy a super soldier?
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like one of the flag smashers. It seemed like a couple of those may have had some superpowers.
Yeah, the one guy,
he definitely has some kind of super strength. He was
throwing people left and right.
So is it a temporary thing, or are they all souped up super soldiers of some sort? I don't know. Zemo is going to have something to do with it, like it's in the trailer for the second one. But that's kind of the way the episode ends, though, is it just shows them they're just kind of all dealing with their own personal struggles. Like there's that one fight scene with the Falcon and the helicopters, and then it's kind of just really about Winter Soldier dealing with his struggles on coming back, Falcon dealing with his struggles, the financial situation. His sister is his business partner, right? Yeah, or trying to be the business partner.
So it's his sister. His parents they passed away, and he's been gone for 5 years.
Yeah,
he got blipped out of existence.
Everything's all
so she's been having
up.
to deal with the family business.
Yeah,
and. So then he comes back, and he doesn't feel like he's been gone for 5 years. So he just starts making comments like he has a say still, and she's like, "Dude, I've been running the business for 5 years. Apparently, running it into the ground." But either way, either way.
But I mean, it was 5 years though, where half the people were gone. So I mean, I'm sure business wasn't booming.
His nieces and nephews are all grown up.
I don't know. Was it they were doing it was a fishing business, and they're wanting to add a restaurant and a charter thing.
Yeah. So back to just the feeling, the overall vibe of the episode. This is great. This was I know it's super vague and it doesn't give you a lot of insight, but whatever your thoughts were on
are these Marvel shows going to be good?
Winter Soldier, Civil War, all of these movies, it felt like the intro to one of those movies.
Yes, it did, very much so. And it also these shows are the Netflix shows were good. These are the next level. Even the WandaVision show, I feel was next level over those Netflix shows, and they seem more movie-esque.
Yes.
And same with this one. This one literally feels like a fucking movie.
Speaking of, and so 40-minute runtime, 6 episodes, that puts you at what is that? 100. What is that?
About 2.5 hours, I think.
No,
it's more than that. About 3.5.
That's 6 times 40's 240 minutes. That's 4 hours. It's like a 4-hour movie. Hey, that actually reminds me of another thing that happened
All
this
right,
week.
so we're just jumping into...
Yes, we are. Fucking Snyder Cut, man.
It's a better movie than the other Justice League.
So that's not really a hot take.
No,
I was looking for more from you.
It's pretty unanimous between everybody on Twitter and everything, it seems like. But I rewatched it again, and I just like the movie. I actually think that movie, because there was a question that we talked about this before, after you watched it, we talked about it for a minute, and I asked you, do you think this movie would have got shit, like talked as much shit, like people would have hated it as much as they hated the other Justice League movie? And you said probably, right?
Yes.
Do you still feel that way?
Yes. So
I don't. I don't feel that way after rewatching it again.
Okay, so my first initial thought was, shame on us. Like, the reason that this movie doesn't exist, the reason that this movie is not canon and that we're just getting it now is because of how much shit we gave Batman versus Superman. Because people like us universally panned that movie as terrible.
That movie wasn't good, but this one I think actually is a good fucking movie.
Yes. So
I think you could have made enough cuts to get this down to a manageable 2.5, 3 hour movie, which is a theater length movie.
Yes.
If you get 2.5, 3 hours, I think in a Justice League movie, there's justice in giving that a 3 hour long movie, especially what you said. There was no original movie for half the heroes, so they had to all be introduced. And
yeah, so that was Snyder's the big ask of Snyder was, since they were going to do a Justice League and they hadn't done Aquaman, they hadn't done Flash,
hadn't done Wonder Woman,
hadn't done Cyborg, they had to
barely done a Batman movie. It was shared with Superman.
Yes, so he basically had to do like 4 or 5 origin story movies. He had to do 4 or 5 origin stories, and these are major characters, right? This is like Captain America just showing up in the Avengers movie with no like pre-course, right? Like nothing. Right. Just like what if Captain America and Iron Man are all talking, ha ha ha, it's a joke, and then Thor just comes down and you have no idea where Thor came from. Like, you don't know anything about...
Or, yeah, like, I mean, like, if you're not a comic book fan, you wouldn't know.
Or what if we gave Thor just a 20-minute intro? It's really hard to do, is what I'm saying. Like, you can't just... It's very difficult. So, like, I understand the length of the movie. In general, I think he did, in terms of what was asked of him, very solid. I actually liked the characters more in his movie than I did in the original Justice League.
I also like the fact that there was no reshoot, so Henry Cavill didn't have the weird face trying to CGI his mustache off.
Yes. That
looks so much better. The graphics in this look better than the movie they put in theaters.
No, I agree. And I love Joss Whedon.
And let's get this straight
Joss
too.
Whedon.
This is a different movie. This is not the same movie.
Yeah, guys, if you're not watching this movie because you're like, oh, I already saw the original one, it's not at all the same movie.
Like, there's completely different. See, after watching it again, the whole ending is completely different. Like, none of it's the same shot.
No.
Or there may be just like a few little minor clips that are different. That are the
beginning,
same.
Middle, and end are different.
There's like very few clips from the other one that made it over. And a lot of those are action clips. The main one I can think is the very beginning, the Wonder Woman thing, where she kind of is fighting those guys at the bank.
Yeah.
That's in there almost the same shot.
Yes.
And then there's a shot where Aquaman lands on the Batmobile. That's the same shot where he goes, "You really are crazy," or something like that. And like, other than that, I don't know if there's like a lot of the same shots, man. Like, it even seems like whenever they come get the mother boxes, like, oh, that's completely different.
Yeah, no, it is an entirely different movie. It is the movie that DC fans deserved, but also the movie that they deserve to get taken from them. I still wholeheartedly believe
I don't think
this.
so. I don't think Batman v Superman was that good of a movie, and I think that it should be the job of the studios to know when something's good and when something's bad.
I think if this movie would have came out right after Batman versus Superman,
you think people would have hated it?
I think people would have.
I don't. I think Batman v Superman was that bad that this was that much better than that movie that they would have liked this.
We needed this was a perfect storm.
I would have loved to see some of the sequels.
There were years of folklore to this movie. Like people did you hear there's actually a Snyder cut? Did you hear that there's like a 4-hour movie that Snyder did? Like he had this whole premise. And it was just, it's very secretive and it was very it was talked about. But you never it was this cult following to this movie.
30 minutes of the ending of the movie is all in credit scenes.
So you had this cult following, right? Match that with Brightburn and The Boys. The Boys is a show on Amazon Prime. Well, I know, but I'm telling other viewers. I understand there may be a 20-year-old girl that's listening to us that's like, what the fuck's The Boys?
Why does it have to be a girl? Why do you have to put them in the corner like that?
She knows who I'm talking about. Anyway. So, The Boys is a show that's basically the main indestructible hero, in quotations. I just made quotation marks and I didn't I know how to podcast. I'm doing it for 12 episodes anyways, but and he's a jackass. He's completely off his fucking rocker, right? and The Boys is rated R, very gory. What if the heroes weren't perfect? Mm-hmm. Right? And Brightburn was basically the retelling of a Superman story if he was
I actually really liked that movie a lot more than I thought I would.
So those two movies come out, and then Joss Whedon releases Justice League. I don't know about the secrets of events, but either way, and people fucking hate it. They hate that movie, right? It's hated just about. I think Justice League's hated just about as much.
I think it came
Batman
out before
versus
The Boys
Superman.
did.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying all four of those things happened. You have a cult following for the Zack Snyder cut. You've got Justice League not being a good movie and basically destroying the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know what's going to happen now. And you've got these other movies that show a genre that's dark and gritty, and these superheroes that aren't perfect, and some of them are actually downright just
so
not good.
Do you think people may like that kind of style?
And they created,
because that was some of that.
They created a vacuum or a hole that Zack Snyder cut made. But if that movie would have came out when it was supposed to, and all of those other things didn't happen, this movie would not be as people would not have liked this movie.
I don't think any of that has anything to do with it.
I want you guys, any of you guys that are actually comic book movie nerds or pop culture nerds, any of you guys that are listening to us, I want you to really think hard about what I just said.
I literally think that this movie, people are going to like it and like it more than the other Justice League movie because it's a better fucking movie.
No, it is. But I'm not comparing that. That's like going, man, this.
But I still think if it would have come out after Batman v Superman, it's so much better than Batman v Superman that people would have been stoked about it.
Do you know the new Ghostbusters movie? The one that has Chris Hemsworth?
The one with the chicks? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Is that a good movie?
No.
Okay, but you know Gigli, right? With Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez?
From way back in
it was
the 2000s.
It was voted the worst movie of all time. If I was saying which movie do you like better, you'd say the Ghostbusters movie. But that doesn't make it a good movie. Just because this Justice League,
so I don't know if I would say that.
Just because this Justice League movie is better than the other Justice League movie doesn't make it a good movie. But it is a good movie.
But I think this movie is better than Aquaman that was really successful. I think this movie is better than Wonder Woman 1984. I think it could be better.
100% agreed.
I think I like this better than the original Wonder Woman movie.
Yes, everything you're saying.
So then, that defeats that argument. That doesn't make any sense.
What I'm saying is that Batman versus Superman was dark and gritty, and there was some stupid stuff in it. But all in all, I think it's a better movie than the Aquaman movie. I think it's a better movie than Wonder Woman 1984. I think it's a better movie than Joss Whedon's Justice League.
I think it may be better than Aquaman, but Wonder Woman 84 was pretty fucking good. And I think this movie's kind of on par with that movie.
So
I just think Batman v Superman just wasn't very good, and I think a lot of it has to do with some of the writing and stuff really there at the end. I thought the premise of it seemed like it was rushed for one, and maybe that's part of the problem. But I don't think this is the same thing. I don't think you could say that this was just so bad. That's why we like it. Because there's movies that are good that I like, that I think this movie's better than.
All I'm saying is that maybe it's getting it's getting more leeway than it would have if it would have launched in 2017 or whenever it was supposed to launch.
I don't know.
I think it's getting more leeway because, and also it's a standalone film.
I think it could be the exact opposite.
It's not canon. It's not canon. Warner Brothers can't get out of their own way.
Unless they make it canon.
They can't make it canon.
Why not?
Because, okay, so spoilers. It would completely debunk Aquaman. The entire movie wouldn't make sense. Because he meets Mira in the movie. In the Justice League Snyder cut. Like,
he met her in the other one too.
Yeah, I know, but but what I'm saying is like Aquaman meets her in Aquaman.
No, we don't.
Yes, he does. He doesn't know who the fuck she is. Yes.
No, but he's talking.
There's like an origin, like the Aquaman.
So,
yeah.
Hold on. To go back in the Josh Snyder, or not the Josh Snyder, the Josh Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Yes.
Justice League. He goes and talks to her in that movie.
It's not the same. It's not the same. The dialogue is different. The tone is different. That Willem Dafoe thing where he's like, take your mother's trident. That scene doesn't happen in Joss Whedon. That, like, when Willem Dafoe shows up, that doesn't happen.
I'm saying he met her in both Justice League's movies.
Aquaman wants nothing to do with Atlantis at the beginning of Aquaman. And at the end of Justice League Snyder cut, you feel like Aquaman is going to go...
Well, he said he's going to go meet his father.
Exactly.
Talk to his father. His father's not in the ocean. His father is the guy at the lighthouse.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I'm saying, like...
I don't get what you're saying.
It changes the tone of that entire movie.
He don't meet her in Aquaman. He doesn't meet her. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He already met her in the first... In the Joss Whedon and Justice League. He'd already met her there. So it changes nothing with Aquaman.
But the conversation is different.
Oh, it don't matter. What does it matter?
I guess none of this conversation matters because Warner Brothers already said it's not canon, and Ben Affleck's already like not going to be Batman again because they couldn't get out of their own way and wouldn't give him leeway, and so he left that project.
I'm sure.
I think Henry Cavill said he was done being Superman, didn't he?
Warner Brothers also said they weren't ever going to release this thing. So like, who the fuck is going to listen to what they have to say? Because they just do whatever is going to make them money.
They are the ones making the movies.
They're also the ones who like to make money. And if they think that this, like, if people give this enough, like, positive outcome, you don't think that they ain't going to get Zack Snyder a juiced up contract and get Ben Affleck back on board and maybe let him make his own Batman movie that he wants to make? And, like, you know, like,
isn't Robert Pattinson already Batman? Like,
they've already said that that's different from the DC universe. Like,
really?
They've already said that's outside of that universe.
Is that Joker? Is that the same universe as Joker? Like, at some point, like, they're gonna have to figure out Jared Leto is not coming back to be Joker.
The way that they're, I don't think Joaquin Phoenix is going to come back to play Joker. So, like, I think that was a one-off deal for him. I don't think they're doing a second one. And
did you like Harley Quinn?
The movie Harley Quinn?
Yeah, the Emancipation of...
It was okay. It was kind of goofy. Like, it was, it was kind of lighthearted and goofy. It was like, I don't know.
We're already remaking Suicide Squad, and it's completely... it's not
really a remake. It's just a continuation. It's called The Suicide Squad instead of Suicide Squad. Which... it's
not a sequel.
It's not. It kind of is.
Okay.
Like, but it's just it's like a new story.
Okay, so... For all the things that Joss Whedon did, and I think probably tried to marvel up Justice League like too much, like there are things that they just don't do right. Like everything that you just said is this giant murky like Like they have no direction. From the very first Iron Man movie, there was a direction for Marvel. Like, props to Kevin Feige.
They were thinking, when they did Iron Man, they were automatically thinking, we're going to go ahead and set this up, because if this is successful, we'll just continue making more of these movies.
Yes.
But they had a plan, like, hey, we could make enough of these that we could eventually just bring them all together for a team up.
Exactly.
And they thought about that, I think, as they were sitting down, getting somebody to start writing a fucking script for Iron Man 1.
There, at some point, somebody did a 5-year plan and was like, these are the movies that are
like, we're going to put out these movies, and then we're going to do, I think it was more of like, probably like a 2-year plan. They're like, we're going to do Hulk, and we're going to do Iron Man and Hulk. And we're like, if these movies are successful, we're going to move into the second phase, which they call it phase 2.
Universal actually did the Hulk, because Universal owns the rights to Hulk. But
it was actually done under Marvel Studios.
Yes.
And Universal Marvel made the movie.
It's kind of like Disney bought Marvel.
It's kind of like Paramount actually did. They did the distribution for the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
So this is before. After these movies were successful, Disney bought them, and phase 2 was all under Disney.
Yes, and then in phase 3 as well.
Moving forward. Yeah.
Yes,
But there was definitely
a plan when Disney bought Marvel.
They knew what they were. Yeah, they knew what they were going to do. They were like, "Hey, this is what we're going to do."
Warner Brothers and DC has no plan. Like they
never did.
They never had a plan. They don't have a plan. And I think the biggest issue is, at some point, there are Marvel movies that weren't great.
Let's talk about the end credit scene. I would have loved to have seen a Ben Affleck versus Deathstroke movie.
Yes,
like that would have been fucking sick.
It would have been.
And I like what's his name, Joe. I can't pronounce Manganiello.
Magniello. Joe Magniello.
I don't know.
As Deathstroke.
That would have been sick to see.
That would have been. That's what I'm. And that's my whole point, Tyler. Is that
I thought
there were some clunkers on Marvel, but they persevered and they went through those.
That's where they fucked up.
Exactly.
There was the clunker with Batman v Superman, and they didn't keep going.
Yeah.
They didn't keep with the plan.
You know what?
And let Snyder keep kind of doing his thing.
Stick with Snyder.
And I think it would have worked out.
So how is that not partially on us?
Because I think we have to say if a movie's bad, people have to say it's bad. You can't. Again, this goes back to the giving everybody a participation award. Just because you made the movie, don't mean that we can't say nothing bad about it. We're gonna say something bad about it if it fucking sucks.
Agreed. Okay. No, then I'll agree. But our hate for that movie is inevitably what caused Josstice League. Like our hate,
Josstice League. That's
our
is that the title of the show, Josstice League? So
that's not the first time. I don't even know where I can give that credit. That's not the first time I heard it. I definitely did not come up with that off the cuff.
Oh, okay.
I'm funny. I'm not that funny. But
we're probably still going to steal it for the title.
No, yeah, definitely. So the fact of the matter is that Batman versus Superman, not a great movie, right? We bashed the hell out of it because it wasn't a great movie, and it's okay to do that. So Warner Brothers at some point has to have a fucking spine.
Well, I think that's what Marvel did. Is Marvel's like, hey, like Thor: The Dark World wasn't our best foot forward. Iron Man 2 really wasn't the best movie we've ever made.
No,
but they were pretty good. But guess what? We're not going to do.
Onto the story.
We're not going to fucking abandon the whole fucking plan.
Exactly.
And they didn't. And we end up having some of the best movies that's ever been made come out of it.
Kevin Feige loves Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Feige.
He likes DC Comics
loves the vision. Like he has a vision. He has a plan. And he's like, this is great. And I enjoy what I'm doing. Who was in charge of DC?
They didn't have nobody. It was all Warner Brothers.
Exactly.
See, that's the thing.
And those fuckers don't know they don't understand the content.
They got to get Marvel's owned by Disney, right? But it's not a Disney thing. Like Disney don't even show up at a Marvel movie. You don't even see Disney anywhere until like the very end, and it says something like Marvel Studios owned by the Walt Disney Corporation.
Yeah.
It's done by Marvel Studios, and Marvel Studios runs it, and it goes through one guy. Like they have one guy running that film division, just like they do with Lucasfilms.
I don't want one entity to own everything, but I get the distinct feeling that if we're actually going to get the DC universe that we deserve, Disney's going to have to fucking buy the rights to DC.
I don't
like, and that's fucking sad, man.
I did hear something the other day that they were Warner Brothers is so tired because they keep reinventing the wheel. They can't figure out anything to go with it. I've heard that this Robert Pattinson Batman, I've heard mixed things about it. They got a lot of good praise with the Joker, but they have nowhere to go with it from there. And they're like, all we can do is make like one good standalone movie, and they can't put together any kind of
no continuity between the movies. Yeah, they can't build a universe.
It's harder than I think it's harder than what people thought it would be. But
so I will also say, and
maybe we need to do it.
I'm not giving. You're damn right we need to, because the fucking who did the Green Lantern movie? Because that was garbage too. Even Ryan Reynolds is like, that's the worst fucking piece of shit I've ever done. But Warner Brothers is not the only person, or not the only entity that gets this wrong. Like, Sony had 3 Spider-Man movies. The third one was panned. They abandoned Spider-Man 4. Sony brings back Andrew Garfield and does those 2 amazing Spider-Man movies. And guess what? The second one gets panned. And they just like it doesn't.
No, they did
work.
do that. Like in Spider-Man 3, they did Sam Raimi, and they pushed Venom on Sam Raimi. He didn't want to have Venom in the movie. He just wanted to have a Sandman movie, and I think it probably would have been a whole lot better. Like it would have been a Green Goblin, which I think they were calling him the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, he was a Hobgoblin,
but it wasn't the Hobgoblin from the comics. But,
it wasn't.
But they were calling him the Hobgoblin, and it was supposed to be Sandman.
Yeah,
and that was supposed to be like the kind of the big bad, and then the studio forced Venom on, and so he had to kind of push in what he wanted to do, kind of rewrite it.
Tobey Maguire dressed in goth,
so
dancing.
Stupid. And then
but
that movie ended up ending, and they they were going to do a 4th one, almost had it set up, and then they didn't do it. They brought in Garfield, and that movie was terrible too. They did the same thing to it.
Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man was not a bad movie.
It was pretty good.
The Lizard,
but then the second,
and Dennis Leary.
The second one, they just kind of fucked it up. They just kind of shoved a bunch of things down people's throats.
Yeah, no, they had like 5 villains and whatever. Either way,
they were forcing
it. None of that. So there was no continuity. There was no direction. There was no universe building. Like, it was just Spider-Man movies.
That's the main problem with Warner Brothers. Those original Spider-Man movies. And it's more the Andrew Garfield.
Universal.
It's more the Andrew Garfield ones than the first 3, because the first 3 they weren't really trying to build a world out of.
No, they weren't.
They just was trying to sell more, I think, memorabilia and action figures. So they wanted another bad guy in there to sell more toys.
Yeah, the Andrew Garfield they really were, because they were going to do a Sinister Six.
But the problem is they didn't want to build it. They just wanted it. Again, it goes back to that entitlement thing, to where they didn't want to work for it. They didn't want to put in the 5 movies that Marvel made to get to Avengers. Avengers had come out, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, we got to do a team-up movie. And so then all these team-up movies started coming out, and it's like, no, you got to lay the groundwork.
Could we have waited 3 more years for a Justice League movie?
It would have been
had Aquaman and Flash and actually gotten to know the characters.
Done those movies right, and then use the Justice League movie as like a sequel to all those movies. Give Batman his own standalone movie, not make it a Batman v Superman. Do another second Superman movie, which we never got. I personally loved Man of Steel. I thought it was fucking awesome. It's my favorite Superman representation ever, is Man of Steel. I thought it was really good. And they just kind of, we'll never get a Man of Steel 2.
No.
Probably.
Unless
we do. Because I do think that they are so lost at Warner Brothers with DC that if this pops, if they think that they can make money off what was set up, if people really like the Snyder cut, I think they could go back and maybe relook at the Ben Affleck Batman movies and the Flash movie that we don't know if we're going to get.
So I mentioned Warner Brothers. I mentioned Sony. The other thing that I'll mention is Universal did that Ang Lee Hulk with Eric Bana. That wasn't a good movie.
That wasn't good.
It's not even canon in the Marvel universe.
It wasn't supposed to be.
The Incredible Hulk, which was Universal, that came before Iron Man, right?
I think it was right at the same time.
The ending scene of that is Robert Downey Jr. shows up.
Yeah, I think Iron Man was first, and then Hulk come out. That's why Robert Downey Jr. showed up at the end, is because he had the suit. And he already had the suit and stuff like that.
I think I have a fix for your problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and that one was an okay movie, and it got incorporated into a canon, and that's great. I mean, obviously they recasted to Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, and Mark
It's
Ruffalo
fine.
is great.
It's still
Edward
good.
Norton was not a bad Bruce
No,
Banner either.
that was a good movie. I guess that they didn't like Edward Norton didn't really get along with Feige and a lot of the producers. That's why he didn't kind of continue on.
But
I wonder if he regrets that. Like he could have been in Avengers. That would
they
have been
need
kind of sick.
one guy that people can trust to man and steer the ship, and that person has to be kind of deep into the DC universe. He has to be like a big and if there was a guy, the fact that we don't know his name, like if
I know. I mean,
there was Zack Snyder, right?
I know who it should be, but
who should it be?
Before I get to this, because it's I think it would work. Maybe not. People may hate it, but I do want to say one more thing about the movie. The Flash storyline in this movie
significantly better
makes me want to see a Flash movie. I hate the Josh Whedon Flash.
Ezra Miller interpretation of Flash in Josstice League is terrible. He is so hokey and so he's fucking
got like
pussy.
anxiety.
He's a fucking pussy.
And he was awesome in this. Like
in this one,
I mean,
he was still standoffish. Like he wasn't.
Yeah, but it was so much better, and the ending was so much better. And I just thought it was like a better representation of the Flash in general. But Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
Kevin Smith loves this kind of shit, and like. I don't know.
Kevin Smith's like that would I would that would be fine.
And he loves Batman. He wrote Green Lantern comics. He's wrote Flash comics before, I think. Like I mean,
Kevin Smith, if you were listening, please go to
people's
Warner
talked
Brothers.
about it before. He said that nobody will ever give him any kind of money to do that with to do anything like that.
That guy is like the
I would
king
love to
of
see him direct. He's directed Flash episodes and Legends Tomorrow episodes. He's directed all those
it is
DC
sad
shows.
that the CW does a better representation of the DC than any of the movies that have been put out by DC.
It does a better representation of like a crossover, kind of like a shared universe for sure.
The Crisis on Infinite Earths, like it was definitely a TV show. It wasn't a movie, but I enjoyed it more than I did Justice League.
I wouldn't say that, but
not Snyder Cut.
Okay, then the other absolutely.
I
would say that. The Snyder Cut for me is the only Justice League that I think exists at this point. I'll never watch the.
Are we gonna get an Aquaman 2? Are we getting a Flash movie?
I think I'm curious. I know you don't think it's gonna happen because they've already said so, but they said they wouldn't release this thing to begin with, and I think Warner Brothers are a bunch of liars. No. I think that if this thing pops off, I'm curious to see what direction they go with.
We just, as fans, we have to keep turning up the heat because the fact of the matter is that Warner Brothers had this movie. They had this movie, and they were never going to release it until we were like, we'll subscribe to HBO Max.
Yeah, release it.
Like we'll do whatever it is that you want us to do. We'll pay the money that you want us to pay to for this streaming service just to see this movie.
I also think that it also depends on how the Robert Pattinson. It's how well that Batman movie goes. How well some of the future things down the pipe. I'll tell you, the Wonder Woman 84 did not get good reviews at all. It was pretty fucking awful. I think, did we talk about that at the first episode, I think?
I don't even know.
I don't remember, but I did not like it.
I'll tell you. I haven't even seen it.
Save your time. It is not very good.
It's on HBO Max, right?
It was. I don't think it is now because it was like one of those things that was in theaters, and then I think it goes to Redbox now, and then it eventually gets back on HBO Max. It's
the one comic book movie I still haven't seen.
It wasn't good. Like I didn't enjoy it one bit at all. And it was like, especially because I love the first Wonder Woman, but so like I don't know what they're gonna do with that universe, especially I know they're supposed to be doing an Aquaman 2, but now they don't know if Amber Heard's going to come back or not because she got in trouble over assaulting Johnny Depp. So
how many movies did or how many years? It was 2008 to what? It was 12 years for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So roughly, far,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it was right at. It was like 10 to 11 years.
How many movies did they put out? Like 30. Is it 25, 30?
It's close to 30.
Yeah.
We'll say 30.
Okay. In 12 years. So on an average, that's like 3 a year, right?
Yeah.
Or no. Whoa.
There's three. There are 3 Captain Americas.
It's on average.
It's 2 to 3 a year.
Two a year.
It started at 2 a year. Then I think they amped it up to 3 a year. So if I'm guessing, I think there's actually probably like 27, 28 movies. There may be more.
I'm going to tell you, they're not. Warner Brothers is actually going to have to go at that rate to get where they need to get to. Like, I mean, we can't get a Wonder Woman movie, then 2 years later get a Flash movie, then 2 years later get an Aquaman movie, and then 2 years after that. Like, I don't need a 56-year-old Gal Gadot finally, like, finishing off this Justice League, whatever world they've created. Like, they're gonna have to, like, put the screws on, or they're gonna have to 100%. I know this is fucking crazy. 100% retcon everything and start over fresh with a new face, which they already. And so stop putting out the Suicide Squad. Stop putting out random Harley Quinn movies.
That's what they need to do. They need to just stop making movies. Like, like go ahead, finish up what you have scheduled because you've got money in those. People will watch them. I'm excited about Suicide Squad.
Snyder Cut's going to make them money.
James Gunn did the Suicide Squad. He's doing it, and it looks really fucking sick.
Okay, maybe you can incorporate it just like the Marvel incorporated
Deadpool, or is going to incorporate Deadpool.
Yes, but what I meant was the
Hulk
Incredible
movie.
Hulk. Yeah, but Deadpool, or great, whatever. Incorporate whatever you want to incorporate. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to retcon.
I think once they're done, I think you live it alone. And if you really want to do this right, you just start over fresh. And you start with a Superman movie, or you could even actually start even better than that. Start with a Green Lantern movie since we haven't got it, and then build on it from there. And maybe have the Green Lantern mention Superman and Batman and stuff like that, and have him kind of be like the Eyes version of going through and meeting the Justice League and stuff. Like start with Green Lantern, go to a Batman movie since we haven't got a standalone. Well, how long has it been since we got a standalone Batman movie, and now we're getting Robert Pattinson. Is that it? Pattinson? Yeah. I don't know that fucking Twilight motherfucker.
Edward Cullen. He shines in the sunlight.
I actually watched
Hold
those.
on, Spider
I've
Monkey.
seen those movies.
I've seen all of them too.
Yeah.
So, okay, so agreed. They just need to retcon everything, but the thing is they're not going to. And so we're just never, DC fans are never going to get what Marvel fans have already gotten. So, I think just to put a stamp on all this, Justice League is worth the 4 hours, and I'm looking forward to next.
Yeah,
Friday.
definitely check it out. It's my favorite DC movie so far.
All right, well,
that's it. Grayson, we went a little long. Grayson ain't here to keep us on track.
Yeah, man, Grayson, damn it. You guys didn't have this problem on Snow Day. You can tell who keeps the things running on this place.
It's definitely
because it's not me. Like I'm not here. You guys put out an hour episode. Grayson's not here, and where are we at?
A little over an hour 30.
Okay. Well, that's not too bad. All right. Well, guys, I'm Brandon.
I'm Tyler. You can find me at untylerhicks on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at the Unacclaimed Pod at Unacclaimed Pod.
You can also find us on Facebook at Critically Unacclaimed. You can get our profile or our page.
Yeah. And don't worry about the website. We're done with that.
We're actually going to drop down the website.
Thank you for everybody who went to the GoFundMe. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We thank you very much. We're going to do something a little bit different moving forward, and nobody looks at websites anymore is what we found out. So
yes.
We're going to quit paying for it. Because like we said, we're still working jobs and we're cheap.
I'm in a mood for a switch up.
Yep, here we go. See ya.
Straight to the stage, they love me. I understand they hungry, but please don't hate, that's ugly. I've been sliding, shaking, moving. I've been popping in my city. Shawty say she love the way we do it with me. I be too turned up to ever give a fuck. I ain't come to argue, let a nigga fuck. They been talking pennies, I need bigger bucks. About to catch a flight, I need to switch it up. Got that black boy joy, might do my dance on him. Take no disrespect, might put my hands on him. Hit this chicken, now she wanna marry me. But she gon' need some closure and some therapy. Came back to the city with my bank account on F. Giving rappers hell, I know they happy that I left. Hit hit the south in winter, I just put down my deposit. 82 degrees, I left that jacket in my closet. Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Hey, look, came in with the what's that? Left out with the who she? Laying game like 2D, I been kicking shit like Bruce Lee. Margarita to the brim tip, black denim need a slim fit. Same people that I flex with be the ones that I'm in the gym with. I'm a living legend, you a dead cause, and I'm dead ass. No, I'm dead right. Leaving early, but I'm here night. Long and short to keep the head right. Teed up out in Malibu, got sand all in my good shoes. Press a nigga with the pessimism, but I only came for the good news. I am the show that they came for, hitting the target I aim for. We been discussing the contract, just telling they get what they paid for. I am not fucking with poverty, really it started to bother me. I need the yacht with the property, that come with the view that you gotta see. Came up from the basement, hit the rooftop with a passion. Bad bitch with some good credit and a good sense for the fashion. Dope blowing with the left hand, ass gripping with the right hand. Uber share to the airport, I'ma hit you back when my flight land. I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up.